Right? So is this clear? We just make the substitution. Now you just need to solve this one. After doing this substitution, y raised to power minus 2 is v. You take the derivative. So minus 2 y raised to power minus 3 dy by dx will be equal to dv by dx. And what was your original differential equation? So your original one is this. So you divide by y cube. So you get y minus 3y dash plus y minus 2 by x is 3x square. And now you see for this factor y raised to power minus 3 into y dash. So this is here. So y raised to power minus 3 y dash is minus half dv by dx. So this substitution is for this term and y raised to power minus 2 is equal to v. This is the substitution for this at this point. So once you make these two substitutions, what we get? Minus half dv by dx plus v by x is 3x square. So we know that after this substitution the equation is going to become linear, Leibniz type. So let's make it into that form. dv by dx minus 2 by x into v is minus 6x square. So whatever is that minus half, so you just multiply with minus 2 all the terms, so you will get this. Is it right? Sorry, sorry. स्क्वायर नहीं था वहाँ पे? एक मिनट, let me just see that. Okay, originally it's x square, right? It's x. I noted it down. So this is sorry, yeah, 6x only. Is that fine? Square is not there. Yeah. So this one is your linear one, and then you move ahead to the solution. So once you move ahead for the solution, so we identify the integrating factor. So you compare with dy by dx plus px into y is qx now. So now I'm comparing with this one. So my px is going to be this minus 2 by x. So integrating factor is e raised to power minus 2 by x dx, e raised to power minus 2 log x. So 1 by x square is the integrating factor, and the solution is, sorry, not y, because y is now not the dependent variable. We are solving for v. So the solution means the general solution v into the integrating factor is integral of the right hand side. What is the function on the right hand side? Minus 6x. So minus 6x into 1 by x square dx plus c. So that is minus 6 by x dx plus c. So you just solve the integral and get your answer. So you will be getting it v by x square is minus 6 log x plus c. And now you again substitute for v. What was v? V was y raised to power minus 2. So v is 1 by y square. So this becomes 1 by x square y square is minus 6 log x plus c. So you want to leave it at this stage, that's fine. Otherwise what you can do is keep y on other side, y square ki value aayegi, then you take the square root plus minus. So you can express in the explicit form also. So that depends upon how you want to, if you want to do further with something with the solution. So it's always better to express in y is equal to f of x form. Otherwise, you can leave it in this form also. This is an expression which represents the general solution of our equation, right? So one more example of this Bernoulli's type we are going to do, and then we'll move to the next topic. So write down the next example. Y square dx plus x into x minus y dy is 0. So I'm trying to bring it to the dy by dx form. So again, as I told you yesterday, Like suppose I do not know that this question is to be done using Bernoulli's or linear. So maybe firstly I can try with checking exactness. हो सकता है exact हो. So you can try doing that. नहीं होगी तो you can try finding integrating factor. So you have to keep all the methodologies in mind that this can also be done in this way. But right now I am doing it with this form. So dy by dx turns out to be y square upon xy minus x square. Right? So how does your linear or Bernoulli's equation type looks like? So we have usually p of x y is qx if it is linear, and if it is non-linear Bernoulli's type, so there will be some power of y. And one thing which specifically that's why I have picked this example which I want to convey, that you can also have the expressions dx by dy. Sometimes when it's difficult for us or we are not getting the form with dy by dx, then we can try with dx by dy, right? This you can do because these are full derivatives. It's not allowed in partial derivatives, right? That mathematically is not justified, has no physical significance. But dy by dx is there, so you just have one dependency. Y is depending upon x. So you can physically also imagine, okay, whatever be the process going on, x is depending on y. Y is the controlling parameter, x is depending on that. So mathematically, this is allowed that if dy by dx form is not becoming our desired form, we can try with dx by dy. So I'll show you how it is going to help you. So if I write dx by dy, so this is actually 1 over dy by dx. So on the right hand side you do the reciprocal. So you will get xy minus x square by y square. Now you see the right hand side is something I can deal with, because earlier it was y square over xy minus x square. So I could not do anything with xy minus x square, because you have to either make factors to split up the terms, because I need this kind of terms, right? Something to be taken on the left hand side. With xy minus x square in denominator, it was difficult for me to do. But now you can see I can split up. This now what is the first term? X by y, and the other term is minus x square by y square. So I made things easy. So this is now which I will interpret as whatever it is, linear or non-linear Bernoulli's, right? dx by dy is x by y minus x square by y square. So this is not only for this Bernoulli's type question. This technique you can apply in any first order, any most of the time it's applicable in first order linear or non-linear differential equations. Although variable separable वहाँ जरूरत नहीं पड़ती है, homogeneous में भी जरूरत नहीं पड़ती है, but exact में भी आप ये टेक्निक लगा सकते हो और यहाँ वाले questions में भी लगा सकते हो, if sometimes you feel that it's easy to manage with dx by dy rather than with dy by dx. Is this point clear? It's going to happen in very rare questions. So that's why I just picked one particular example. And I'm not saying कि इसको ऐसे ही कर सकते हैं. Maybe you figured out some way कि you can do with dy by dx also. But this is something clicked to my mind. Okay, let's do this way. It's going to be easier. Is it fine? Okay, so now I'm going to proceed from this point onwards. So this is dx by dy minus x by y is equal to minus x square by y square. I'm trying to relate with this one. So can you tell me the equivalent version? Means ये तो Leibniz form है, no doubt, जो dy by dx में होती है. If we want a similar form in dx by dy, so just swap the role of x and y. So you will have this type dx by dy plus a function of y into x. जैसे यहाँ फंक्शन ऑफ x into y होता है, so x and y का रोल हम स्वैप कर रहे हैं, so some function of y will be there into x, and on right hand side again q will be a function of y into x की कोई पावर होगी, जो मैं जनरल लिख रही हूँ बर्नौलीज में, उसमें दोनों कवर होंगे. अब वो x की पावर नहीं प्रेजेंट होगी तो obviously this will be linear, otherwise the Bernoulli's type. So this is the, you can say, corresponding form of dx by dy. Okay, this is a clever trick. This you will not find in books. Not every author will give you these kind of questions where we can use this trick. So that's why I'm just telling you that look at it carefully. Just swap the role of x and y. Okay, now you compare with this one. What is, so this is a Bernoulli's type because it is like, so I have py is minus 1 by y if you look at, and my qy is minus 1 by y square, and in addition means sorry in additionally it's being multiplied with the term, both terms x square. The right hand side is qy into x square. So this is falling into this category. Let's not call this Bernoulli's because Bernoulli's ये है, हमने उसको just उसका equivalent version बनाया है. Doesn't matter what's in a name, but whatever it is in that form. So we can use a similar technique the way we apply for this one. Just we have swapped the role of x and y. So can you tell me now what should be the substitution? जैसे यहाँ पे अभी हमने देखा था कि y की पावर n प्रेजेंट होता है, तो we make the substitution y raised to power 1 minus n is v. So यहाँ पे y को नहीं देखना है, x को देखना है. x की कौन सी पावर है which is making it non-linear on the right hand side? X square, right? So what I do? Put x raised to power 1 minus 2 is equal to v, because now I don't have to see y, I have to see x now as dependent variable. Clear? Please ask if you have doubts. Okay, so now you can go ahead. So once you get this, x raised to power minus 1 is v. So what you are going to get? Minus x raised to power minus 2 dx by dy is dv by dy this time. Now y is as the independent variable. So this was my equation. This was, I'll divide with x square on both the sides. So when we divide with x square, or you can divide with minus x square, anyways this minus we can adjust. So this thing will be x raised to power minus 2 dx by dy will be minus dv by dy. So this is minus dv by dy. This one is v by y minus 1 by y square. So you get this one is now linear type, right? Because dependent variable is v की कोई power नहीं आ रही है, so you compare with the Leibniz type. X की जगह पे y है और dependent variable की जगह पे v है. So this is a linear one. So I know how to solve this. Integrating factor is e raised to power integral. So this is the function, इसको हम py बोलते हैं, 1 by y dy. So that is just y, right? This is the integrating factor. So the general solution is v into y is integral of, right hand side I have 1 by y square into y dy plus c. So ये फिर से 1 by y will be log y. So I've got the general solution. The only thing is v has to be again substituted as this 1 by x. V was originally 1 by x. So when you do that substitution, this is the final solution. Y by x is log y plus c. Right? So I'll suggest you that this question we have done in a particular way. You also try doing some other way and let's see whether you get the solution or not, right? So you try. I'm always saying this with every question. There is not one absolute way of dealing the things. This is only with practice you will be figuring out which is the perfect. Yes, any doubt? Doubt है कोई? Something you are discussing? Any doubt you have? No? Okay. So that was the Bernoulli's type. One question was straightforward, the other was little bit, we had to use a smart trick. Now we are going towards the next chapter. So this is all about, so far we have solved all the first order type equations. We have first order linear, first order Bernoulli's type, exact, variable, separable, those are the general techniques. But now we are particularly moving towards the second order ordinary differential equations. And in second order also, firstly we will have our focus on the linear ones. The non-linear one will come later. The first thing, the first part of the chapter is going to focus on second order differential equation, but the linear one, not the non-linear one. So you know this definition of linearity still remains the same, because whatever is the order, the definition of linearity is still the same. That you have a function, this time x, y dash. This time you will also have the second order derivative. So this function has to be linear in y dash, y double dash. No product terms, no raised to the power terms. So any equation you see in this form, any differential equation, we include it in the category of general linear second order differential equation. Now again in linear also, just like we have seen the Leibniz type differential equation, that out of the linear first order we have a specific type which we can easily solve. Same is here. In the second order also, we are going to introduce a specific type of differential equation, because this is what happens actually when you complicate the things. Complicate means this is the process of research also, that you want to do research over a problem. So firstly you will start with the very simplest kind. If you are able to handle the simplicity, then only you start adding complexity. Nobody is going to construct a mathematical model which is complex in the very first stage and then you are not able to solve it. So you will say, okay, let's compromise little bit with the complications. Let's simplify it. At least I can solve it. So this is how these algorithms get developed over the period of time. The mathematicians who have developed them, they never thought that firstly why I should focus on this. They tried with a complex one, slowly simplifying it. Okay, I am not able to solve a general second order, but let's restrict some type. At least this type we can solve. So that's how these forms have been introduced, which we give you that why we are focusing on this type only. So it's actually the opposite one. From complex, it gets simplified. Okay, so the what form we are talking about here is this form, y double dash plus px into y dash plus qx into y is rx. It's analogous to the Leibniz type. It is just one extra term is there, the second order term. So y dash will also have coefficient as a function of x, and y will also have coefficient as a function of x, and on right hand side you will have function of x. So these p, q, r are your functions of x, or obviously constants are also allowed. They can be constants also, but they cannot be functions of phi. So you can see it is analogous to the Leibniz type of first order. So now we are going to focus on this one. So firstly, there are few definitions and terms which we need to understand before going with the technique of solving these, right? The meaning of solution remains the same. The meaning of general solution remains the same. This time the general solution will contain two arbitrary constants. So every time I'll be writing a solution, general solution, there will be two arbitrary constants. The definition of IVP remains the same. What is IVP? Initial value problem. So I told you what is initial value problem. You will be given conditions to find the values of arbitrary constant. So here comes the actual role of IVP and BVP. In first order, क्योंकि एक ही condition होती थी तो एक ही point पे define होती थी. But in second order, now there will be always two conditions given to you to find the value of arbitrary constant. So if those two conditions are given at the same point, it's called IVP. If different points, then BVP. Anyways, we'll come to that when that kind of question is coming. But firstly, I am going to give you few definitions about this type of differential equation. So the first case is about the right hand side function. So the right hand side function r in general has to be a function of x. If it happens to be 0, suppose you get a differential equation like y double dash plus y dash plus y is 0. On the right hand side you do not see any function of x, it's 0. Then, okay, I'm calling this equation 1, right? So equation 1 is called homogeneous, right? So don't get confused this homogeneous with the previous homogeneous. वहाँ पे वो homogeneous function और homogeneous differential equation का meaning अलग है in reference to the first order. अभी हम second order में हैं, so second order में homogeneous का मतलब अलग है. So don't imply the same thing. यहाँ पे a second order differential equation linear is said to be homogeneous if the right hand side is 0, expressed in this form. And if non-zero, then non-homogeneous. So these are first two terms you should know. If there is something present, maybe just a constant, non-zero constant, or some function of x, in that case, this is called non-homogeneous. So in short, we can write it like HDE, homogeneous differential equation, NHDE, non-homogeneous differential equation. Default अभी हम second order में ही हैं, so I'll not mention every time of second order, but we are in second order now. Okay, so this is the first definition, and then we have the result with us. Okay, so now comes few theorems. We're not going to do proofs of them. The proofs you can find in book, but these are something we'll remember and use them directly in the questions. So the first result says if Yg is the general solution of homogeneous differential equation. So we are referring to the same equation. Which one? Y double dash plus py dash plus qy is r. So when it is homogeneous means if r is 0, so you get the homogeneous part. So if that you solve and you get a general solution. See, right now I'm not telling you how to find this. I'm just stating few results that if it is there, then what does it mean? How to find it will come later. So if Yg is the general solution of this homogeneous differential equation and Yp is the particular solution of non-homogeneous differential equation. So we are referring to the same equation. उसमें उसको हम दो बार जैसे सॉल्व किया है, हमें उसका होमोजीनियस पार्ट का सॉल्यूशन भी पता है, मींस इन द सेम इक्वेशन. सपोज आपके सामने कोई इक्वेशन है, is say x, say something like this. It is a non-homogeneous as such. But suppose you will find this when we will discuss the ways to solve. This is one of the very easy technique which will come with the result of this theorem. That it's always good to first solve the homogeneous part. Firstly, you just ignore the right hand side and solve it, and then something else needs to be done which will give you the general solution. So aim is still the same, to get the general solution of the given differential equation. Now given differential equation, if it is already having right hand side 0, so we'll see what to do. But if it is having right hand side non-zero, so this is how the result is obtained. We need to have the general solution of the homogeneous part of the same equation. Okay, and then by keeping the non-zero part into the equation, by keeping the function into the system, we get another solution, and that is going to be a particular solution. You understand the difference between general and particular solution, right? Okay, so then y is equal to yg plus yp is a general solution of the नॉन होमोजीनियस डिफरेंशियल इक्वेशन. सो एक ही इक्वेशन के दो पार्ट्स हैं, एक बार राइट हैंड साइड को जीरो किया, यू गेट वन सॉल्यूशन, दैट इज द जनरल सॉल्यूशन ऑफ होमोजेनियस वन। फिर उसको रख के इक्वेशन में राइट हैंड साइड वाले पार्ट को सॉल्यूशन फाइंड किया, दैट इज अ पर्टिकुलर सॉल्यूशन। तो उन दोनों को जब ऐड करोगे, यू आर गोइंग टू गेट अ जनरल सॉल्यूशन ऑफ द नॉन होमोजेनियस डिफरेंशियल इक्वेशन। दिस इज अ वेरी स्ट्रॉन्ग रिजल्ट in general, not true for any second order or the non-linear problems. It is true for this specific type of second order linear differential equation, and this is going to be helpful, and this is a result which we'll be using in the question. So if anybody of you is still having doubt in this, so I'll suggest you hold on. जब questions करेंगे तो आपको ये clear हो जाएगा इसको करना कैसे। Yes. Ma'am, so the same equation can be homogeneous and non-homogeneous. No. It's not like that. It's something like उसको हम दो में split कर लेंगे. Okay, let's first solve the homogeneous part. Means right hand side को zero कर देते हैं. It's something like उसको zero put करके solve कर लिया. अब अच्छा वो right hand side में कुछ add हो रहा है. You get non-zero part, so the particular solution is going to be added. So it's just a technique कि same equation को आप दो parts में रखें. It is originally non-homogeneous if the right hand side is zero, but ये एक solve करने का तरीका होगा कि हम उसको zero कर देंगे, उसको homogeneous equivalent of the original equation बोलेंगे और उसको solve करेंगे. Obviously that will be a new equation, so that's why जो homogeneous का solution है वो पूरा as such non-homogeneous का solution नहीं हो सकता है. It needs to be added with something. So for that we just need a particular solution of the non-homogeneous one. So you will see when we will be using this into the questions that how this is coming. Right now I am not able to give you the proof of it. इसका कोई intuitive proof भी नहीं है कि मैं आपको कुछ mathematically नहीं तो ऐसे समझा दूं, graphically ऐसा इसमें नहीं होगा, proof करेंगे तो पूरा ही करना पड़ेगा. So let's just skip that part. So we are just going to use this one. Okay, so write down the next result which we have. If y1, y2 are any two particular solutions of homogeneous differential equation, then C1y1 plus C2y2. So C1y1 plus C2y2 means linear combination. Means दो solutions है आपके पास एक equation के. So but वो particular solution है. Usually so far what we have seen, every differential equation is having infinitely many solutions because the general solution always represents a family of curves because C can have infinitely many values. When but you are given a condition, only then it becomes a unique solution. So this y1 and y2 are two particular solutions of that family of curves, but I want to know, okay, what is the general solution? So their linear combination is going to give you the general solution. I'm coming to that. ये result और भी stronger form में आएगा, then I'll explain it more. But अभी के लिए ये result थोड़ा weaker form में है. I will tell you the meaning of this, but let me just write the statement. Then C1y1 plus C2y2 is also a solution of homogeneous differential equation. Now this result is particularly for homogeneous differential equation, not to be generalized to the non-homogeneous one. इस result में हम सिर्फ homogeneous की बात कर रहे हैं कि given any homogeneous differential equation आप मुझे उसके दो solution बता दो, I can give you the infinitely many solutions just by taking their linear combination. C1y1 plus C2y2 is also going to be a solution of that. ये आप किसी भी differential equation पे try कर सकते हो होमोजीनियस वन जब हम ये क्वेश्चंस करेंगे. एक सॉल्यूशन है, दूसरा दोनों को ऐड करके वो भी सेटिस्फाई करेगा, दोनों को सब्ट्रैक्ट करेंगे सॉल्यूशंस को वो भी सेटिस्फाई करेगा. मल्टीप्लाई नहीं, यू कैन ओनली मल्टीप्लाई विद स्केलर्स. ओके, so these all things, the results I am giving you, these will test on the examples, so then you will validate these things. Okay, so let me give you the next definition. Linearly dependent. Have you heard this term before? Okay, so one thing is this, this is a very general term. It's actually coming from linear algebra, from the vector spaces. So this is that part which will be a part of the course, but it's going to be taught in the end. So linear algebra part is a part of the same course, but will come in the last. So there is the actual meaning of linear dependency and independency, but here we are going to define this purely in the context of the differential equations. Okay, so do not get confused if you read somewhere, okay, linear dependency to kuch aur hota hai. It is actually in general something else, a very detailed thing. But when it comes to just the differential equation, so we are just going to have that much only which is useful in the context of our differential equations. Okay, this is the disclaimer I am making before giving you the definition. Okay, so let me write the definition. So what is the linear dependency, what we are talking about? So let me first write the definition, then I'll give you the examples. So firstly, I'm talking about the two functions. If there are two functions, say fx and gx, they are said to be linearly dependent. So we will be using the word LD. LD, whenever I say LD, it means linearly dependent. Are said to be linearly dependent if one of them is a scalar multiple of the other. That is, fx is some k times gx. So what do you mean by scalar? What will be k? I mean k, what will be k? मतलब what k will look like? It's a number. It's a real number because हम real में हैं. Complex field में होते तो complex number भी हो सकता है, but we are restricting ourselves to the real field. So k is any real number. It will not be a function of x. That's what I want to emphasize on. Constant multiple भी बोला जाता है. Constant multiple, but scalar is a better precise word. Or you can say you take the ratio of two functions, divide, and that answer should turn out to be just a scalar. So if that is happening, we say the two functions are linearly dependent on each other. इसको आप vaguely थोड़ा सा समझ सकते हो graphically, not with the functions, but what is its actual meaning in the, you can say, okay. So if I give you a function, say y1 is x. So what is the graph of this? And then I give you another function, y2 is 2x. So y2 is 2x will be, so you will have the greater slope. So the point is, one of them is scalar multiple of other. So like 2x is just 2 into x. Okay, may not be this way I can able to explain. You can have its interpretation in terms of vectors. Vectors. Okay, if I give you a vector, let's just forget this. Better way is through vectors. If I give you a vector, say 2I cap, so you know the direction of it, right? Along x-axis, you have to move 2 steps along x direction. If I give you 4I cap, so what happens? You stay in the same direction, but you just move along some magnitude. Either you move ahead or you come down. And similarly, minus 3I. So you are still along the x-axis, but you are just moving in the magnitude. So this is what these all vectors, 2I, 4I, minus 3I, they are linearly dependent on each other. You are still on the same line. What you are doing is just moving in terms of magnitude. वेक्टर्स में, दैट्स व्हाई आई सेड ओरिजिनली इसका जो कॉन्टेक्स्ट है लीनियरली डिपेंडेंसी का वेक्टर्स में है. तो जब लीनियर अलजेब्रा पढ़ेंगे वहां पे आपको पहले वेक्टर्स की सेंस में लीनियरली डिपेंडेंसी समझ आएगी, राइट? सो यहां से आता है टू वेक्टर्स आर सेड टू बी लीनियरली डिपेंडेंट ऑन ईच अदर इफ जस्ट दे आर स्केलर मल्टीपल ऑफ ईच अदर. दैट मीन्स यू रिमेन ऑन द सेम लाइन बट यू जस्ट चेंज योर मैग्नीट्यूड. मैग्नीट्यूड में कुछ भी, सो मैग्नीट्यूड में कुछ भी मीन्स, so you can see this 4i is just 2 times of 2i. Similarly, अब इसका analogous definition functions में है. If one function is just the scalar multiple of other, so they are said to be linearly dependent. So you can just have analogy of that definition. but क्योंकि अभी आपने पढ़ा नहीं है, so that's why I just told you. Originally it is coming from there, and it's always easy to see it for two functions. We'll also give you a general way. Given any number of functions, you can check whether they are dependent on each other or independent. But for two functions, it's always this. If one of them is scalar multiple of other, you call it linearly dependent. Otherwise, linearly independent. So the word for that is Li. Okay, so giving you the example, one example I've just given you. Y1 is x and y2 is 2x. So these are both functions. So you can see that y2 is just 2 times y1. So therefore y1 y2 means these are not numbers. I should write actually like y1x y2x are linearly dependent. Okay, now next example I am giving you. You need to tell me. One is x, one is sin x. So they are not linearly dependent. So that's why I told you. It's very easy to see just for the two functions. Just need to see. Take the ratio. If the answer turns out to be scalar, done. Otherwise, no. So sin x is never a scalar multiple of x. So these are linearly independent. So what you can do is you can take the ratio xy sin x. It's not a constant. It turns out to be a function. Therefore, they are not linearly dependent and hence linearly independent. Okay. And one question which I ask you, suppose one of the function is 0, another function is anything. I'm not giving you the function. Anything. It can be non-zero, something, any function of x. Now, will f and g be LD or LI? थोड़ा मैथमेटिकली कैलकुलेट करके देखो. fx upon gx will be 0. So 0 is a constant or not? So it's LD. So it's always going to happen. If one of them is 0, it's always LD. And it is in general also true. Suppose I will give you a set of 10 functions. उसमें 10 functions हैं. अभी तक मैंने आपको जनरल टेक्निक नहीं बताई है कि given more than 2 functions how to check LD LI. I'll come to that later. But this result is generalizable. If even one of the function is 0, so the whole set is just a set of LD. So in 2 also it is applicable. So whatever gx I give you, you take this ratio f by g, that is 0. You can say this f is 0 times gx. So whatever is gx, this has to remain. 0 is a scalar multiple. It's counted in that. So this will be a set of LD. Is it clear to everyone? Just by the definition of being linearly dependent. Okay, I'll stop here and in the next class we will see why we are studying this LDLI, what is its connection, and listen one important thing. The next class I am going to take online. So if anybody is not there in the